little town of Hiawassee. I'm heading over to the Ingalls. They have a gas station there, and I'm going to fill up the tank. And then I'm going to head on out to Indian Grave Gap to meet our next riders. They did send me a text a little bit ago telling me they were running about 15 minutes behind due to some traffic. But that's okay. I understand traffic because I deal with a lot of it myself. So just good communication is key, and that's all that we need. All right, well, I'm almost to where I need to be. I'm pulling up here and fill up the gas tank so I can keep moving throughout my day. All right, busy here in Hiawassee today, and this is another hiker town as you make your way along the Appalachian Trail. All right, so I'm going to get in here and do what I need to do and keep moving on my way. Made my way into Hiawassee and topped off the gas tank. Now I'm heading out here. I'm heading as if you were going to go to Unicoi Gap or Helen, but before that happens, even before Unicoi Gap, I'm going to take a left-hand turn and I'm going to go down Indian Grave Gap Road and make my way to Indian Grave Gap, where I'm going to meet our next riders of the day. I'm going to scoop them up and get them down to, or over to Neel Gap, and then I'll head on down into Dahlonega to get our next rider after that, who's going back to the airport in Jasper. So that's what's going on right now. We've had some rain. It's stopped for the moment, but it does look like it's going to continue to rain throughout the day. It's 64 degrees right here in Hiawassee. It's a beautiful day, even with the rain. All right, I'll be back in a bit. All right, here we are. We're pulling into Indian Grave Gap Road, and I'm going to follow this road for about 3.5 miles until I get to Indian Grave Gap, give or take a little bit. So you come down through here, you do a little water crossing, and then you just wind your way up the road until you arrive at your destination. Also in here is Shoals Falls. Once I go down through the water crossing and I climb up the mountain a bit, it's probably about a mile or so up. There's a little tiny parking space on the left, and then there's a trailhead and that goes down to Shoals Falls. I've not been down there, but it's super popular. A lot of people come out here and they'll park up there and hike down to the falls. If they're not so sure about the water crossing, they just leave their vehicle and they'll hike up. All right, coming up to the water. All right, making my way here into Indian Grave Gap, and this here is the water crossing I was talking about just a little bit ago. And the worst part of this water crossing isn't the water itself, it's how the banks are so high on both sides, and if you don't have a higher clearance vehicle, I can see where, you know, somebody could really scrape the bottom of their car. But of course we go through that, no problem. And now I'm just going to continue my way up here until I arrive at Indian Grave Gap. This is a beautiful drive in here, and I love coming out here. Super pretty. So once we get up by Shoals Falls area, we'll see how many folks are out here today going to the falls. Alright, so as I've continued to make my way here out to Indian Grave Gap, this here is the parking area for Shoals Falls, and as you can see, there was numerous vehicles there. They've put up these posts for no parking along the sides here. Years past, you'd come through here and there would be cars all parked down in here, and as you can see, the road's very narrow and you could barely squeeze through here, even with a small sized vehicle. So it was causing great congestion up in here. And I don't know if, you know, people follow the signs, but there's no longer any parking allowed along that strip of road there for anybody that's going to be hiking down to the falls. So just continuing my way now. I'm still a couple miles from Indian Grave Gap.